Hi everybody, it's Tanya and welcome to today's video. So as you have already seen from the title and from the thumbnail, today is the day when I'm going to suggest you a few more big books for our new round of the BBB book club, which is going to take place in July and August. After you watch this video, you can go to the community section of my channel. I will leave the link in the first pinned comment, so you can go to that link and there will be a poll, so you will be able to vote for whichever book or books you would most like to read during July and August. You will have a week to do so. So next Sunday I will upload an announcement video announcing the winner or winners for the next round. If you're new here, the BBB book club has a Discord. Currently we are reading the Makioka Sisters by Junichiro Tanizaki. That's our May book. Then in June we will be reading The Idiot by Fyodor Dostoevsky, and then from the middle of May we are going to start our first slow buddy read, which is 10 pages a day, and we will be reading 100 Years of Solitude by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. And then in July there will be a second slow buddy read, and we will be reading Faust for that. So if you are interested in any of those books, feel free to join. The link to the book club is down below in the description box. And yeah, I think that's all information. Now let's begin with the books. Let's start with the books. As always, it's a hard choice. I do have some preferences this time around. I do have some preferences, which I will tell you. As always, I would be happy with any of the choices. The first book that I'm going to suggest you is the one that I have already suggested before in the first round of the BBB. It wasn't chosen, so I'm suggesting it again because it sounds so good and I really want to read it, and I really think that we should read it. I really think we should read it. So really consider this one. I decided to even emphasize it and put it first. You would pay attention to it. So the first book that I'm suggesting is Suitable Boy by Vikram Seth. I think this is the biggest novel I have ever suggested. It's definitely the biggest novel we have read so far. It has 1,500 something pages. It's enormous. It's enormous. It's definitely an undertaking and it's definitely a challenge. But I think if you have already joined the BBB, or if you're considering joining BBB, I'm guessing you like challenges. So yeah, this is another challenge for you that I'm suggesting, not just for you, for all of us. But it's an exciting one. Suitable Boy by Vikram Seth. This novel has the most Jane Austen-like beginnings in modern literature, I guess. Because let me read you the first line. "You too will marry a boy I choose," said Mrs. Rupa Mehra firmly to her younger daughter. From this first line you can already see that the main topic of this book, the main line, the main plot, is going to be marriage, searching for the best suitable boy for the youngest daughter of the family. But it's only one line out of many. And this novel is not only compared to Jane Austen, it is also said that Vikram Seth, with his book, resurrects the art of the 19th century realist novel, and his writing is compared to that of George Eliot and Leo Tolstoy. However, the author himself actually said that the inspiration for his novel came not from the Western literature, but, and this is very exciting, it came from the East actually, and in particular he was inspired by the Makioka Sisters by Junichiro Tanizaki, and I was so happy to see that because we're currently reading it with the BBB book club, and so far so good. So far everybody is really loving that novel, so I was really excited to see that it was the inspiration for this book. So consider the suitable boy. So like I said, the main plot of the novel focuses on mother searching the perfect husband for her younger daughter. However, daughter finds the boy she loves herself, to the terror of her mother. They come from different religions. Girl's family are Hindu, and the boy she falls in love with is a Muslim. And that's where you can see that it's going to be more than just a love story, or more than just a family searching for a husband for their daughter's story, because the action of the novel is set in 1950s in India, when India became newly independent. At that time, it also separated from Pakistan, and we start seeing a lot of hostility between the representatives of Hindu religion and Muslim religion. Hindus from Pakistan were fleeing to India, and Muslims from India were fleeing to Pakistan. And then on the borders between these two countries, genocide took place, leading to more than 1 million people being dead. The novel was inspired by these events, and it emphasizes the importance of reconciling different religious beliefs through dialogue and mutual understanding. Some reviews also mention that even though the novel is so long, it actually plays to its benefit, because it doesn't only give you like dashes of certain parts of the culture, it actually dives deep into the culture, and it's super immersive. You experience the culture of the newly independent India through this book. It is also said that characters here are wonderful, and that by the end of the book you feel like a member of the family. You feel like you know these people, like they're your family, and their life is somehow connected to your life as well. So that's exciting when a book can do that, when you feel so close and so attached to the characters that you practically feel like they're your family. So that's exciting. That's why I personally, this is one of my preferences on the list, to be honest. I hope it will be chosen. So please consider this A Suitable Boy by Vikram Seth. I think it sounds wonderful. For suggestion number 2, we have 2 books. I decided to unite 2 books in one suggestion in this time, based on their like origin, where they come from. So this suggestion is from Latin America, then next one will be from Asia, and then there will be also from Europe. So this suggestion is from Latin America, and we have 2 books here. So the first book here is Savage Detectives by Roberto Bolaño, and then the second book in this kind of category is House of Spirits by Isabel Allende. Both of the authors are from Chile, and the books are quite short, so that's why we will be able to read one book in 1 month and then another book in another month. We will decide in each order later, but yeah, since they're so short, just 600 pages and 400, so almost 500 pages, I decided that it's better to read 2 books in 2 months. So the first one is Savage Detectives by Roberto Bolaño. Roberto Bolaño is one of those mysterious kind of figures similar to Yukio Mishima in Japanese literature. He had quite a life, and he died very young, in the age of 50. And in the Latin American world, I think he is already acknowledged as a very influential figure in modern literature, and slowly he starts getting more and more popular in the English language as well, as his works are being translated. The Savage Detectives is said to be a super gripping novel and wildly enjoyable. In the beginning of his writing career, Roberto Bolaño was at first a poet. That's why his language is very lyrical, and in some reviews I read that his sentences are very much like a poem. They have this poetic rhythm to them. In this novel, we follow a group of poets / writers. It is told from multiple perspectives. The first perspective we will be following is that of a 17-year-old young poet who is on the make, poetically and erotically, and he decides to join this gang of also other poets. The group is led by 2 young writers. One of them is based on Roberto Bolaño himself, and then the other one is based on his friend. So this novel is kind of autobiographical, not exactly, but he draws a lot from his own life and experiences. Later in the novel, the group becomes obsessed with this one female poet who just disappeared, and at that time nobody knew where she was, and the group sets off on a journey to find her. We will follow the journey of these two leaders of the group, this 17-year-old boy and a prostitute. So these four characters will be looking for that female poet, as it was said in one reviews, like Don Quixote and Sancho Panza were looking for Don Quixote's Dulcinea. So I also like this allusion to Don Quixote. I feel like, yeah, after we read Don Quixote, I start noticing a lot of allusions, especially in like Hispanic literature, to Don Quixote, and I am loving it. I am loving it. But this work is very literary as well. So it's not only allusion to Don Quixote, there are also allusions to the Odyssey and to Ulysses, because one of the characters is actually called Ulysses. As it was also said in one of the reviews, there will be not just one Odyssey, there will be 3 Odysseys. So first we will follow them in Mexico, but then they will go traveling around the world, and their story will be told from perspectives of people around them, people who are meeting them. So that's also very interesting. That's also an interesting approach to storytelling. I have read only one short book by Roberto Bolaño, like his collection of 3 short stories, and I really enjoyed that. So I personally really want to explore more of Roberto Bolaño. I was thinking of suggesting 266, but then it seems to be quite a difficult book, so I thought maybe it would be better to first start with his Savage Detectives, and then once we read that, after that read 2666. So that's why I first suggest Savage Detectives. And then the second book for this option for the Latin American literature is House of Spirits by Isabel Allende, also a Chilean author. The House of Spirits is said to be one of the most important works of the 20th century. It is also an epic family saga which spans 3 generations of one family. There is a very exciting praise for this book in New York reviews. New York Times book reviews said about this book: spectacular, an absorbing and distinguished work. The House of Spirits, with its all-informing, generous and human sensibility, is a unique achievement, both personal witness and possible allegory of the past, present and future of Latin America. So sounds great, sounds great. The story begins in an unnamed South American country. We start with this young girl who will become the mother of a big family. But at this time she is very young. However, she is different from everybody else because she can read fortunes, she can move objects by her will, and she can predict the future. Her sister mysteriously dies, and after that event, the girl, her name is Clara, stops talking, and she only talks again after many years to predict the future, that she is going to get married. She gets married to this man who returns back from Mexico. He has certain political ambitions and he has a very, very fiery temper. However, he develops passion for Clara and they do get married. They have a daughter. The man starts pursuing his political ambitions, and eventually in the family they have a daughter who, when she grows up, she has a love affair which is not supported by her father, but the result of this affair is going to be a gift for him. So this is going to be a family saga, a multi-generational. I don't know much about like the synopsis. This book is very beloved, so that's why I also wanted to give it a try and to explore it. So the second suggestion for the Latin American books is House of Spirits by Isabel Allende. So when you're voting, you have to vote for like these 2 books, so they will be in one suggestions. you vote for Latin American books. Okay, now off to the third suggestion. The third suggestion also consists of two books, because again they're on the shorter side. The first one will be 700 pages and then the other one is like 500 pages. So again, we will read one book a month. These are suggestions from Asian literature. First book is Wild Swans, The Daughters of China by Chun Chang. Chun Chang is a history professor in one of UK universities. However, she has Chinese origin, and this book is her kind of autobiographical story. So she narrates a story of her family, in particular women in her family. So it's mostly about female experiences in China of 20th century. The book is prohibited in China because apparently it's not very favorable. The book became a bestseller, selling 13 million copies worldwide. And it also seems to be a multifaceted story, because it's said that it's a tragic tale of nightmarish cruelty, but also it's an uplifting tale of bravery. In this book we will follow 3 generations of women. The main character's grandmother, who was given to a warlord as his concubine, and then later her mother, who was an idealist communist. And we will see her parents' experiences as a high-rank communist elite in China, and then their ordeal during the Cultural Revolution. So it must be something fascinating and really exciting and interesting. And yeah, I always love multi-generational sagas. So this is my first suggestion for Asian literature, Wild Swans. And then the second suggestion for Asian, which again, like 2 books in 2 months is going to be, I actually have this book right here. So it's My Uncle Napoleon, an Iranian book by Iraj Pezeshkzad. This is an Iranian novel by an Iranian writer, and I'm super excited. You see, it's not too long, it's 500 something pages, and again, it's a family story. It's a family, not saga, but a story. And this book is said to be the most beloved Iranian novel of modern time. So that's definitely very exciting. In this novel, we follow an Iranian family, an extended Iranian family, with its patriarch, Uncle Napoleon. They call him that way because he is fascinated with the figure of Napoleon. The story is told by his naive, very young, least favorite nephew, who falls in love with his daughter. And after that happens, family's fortunes are reversed, and we start seeing some family intrigues and plots. It is also said that this book is very funny, and it's very humorous towards the certain characters that you can meet in Iran, which might actually present a challenge for a Western reader, because obviously you wouldn't be so familiar with Iranian culture and Iranian people and their behavior, so maybe some jokes wouldn't be so obvious to you. But you never know, you could discover a favorite book in this one. So that's why I'm suggesting it. And we haven't read anything from Iranian literature yet, and I haven't suggested yet anything from Iranian literature, so that's why this is the book I'm suggesting now, My Uncle Napoleon. Suggestion number 4 is from British classics, so English British classics. The first book will be Armadale by Wilkie Collins, which I'm super excited about, and then the other one is Villette by Charlotte Bronte. Again, these 2 books are on the shorter side, so Armadale is 700 pages and then Villette is 600 pages, so again, 1 book a month. Villette by Charlotte Bronte is often named her finest work. Like Virginia Woolf said. Virginia Woolf said that Villette is Charlotte Bronte's finest work. And then there is also this quote from George Eliot, which says that I'm only just returned to a sense of real wonder about me, for I have been reading Villette. Villette is an autobiographical novel, as far as I know, by Charlotte Bronte. She draws on her own experience, her very unlucky and unhappy experience of teaching in a only girls' school in Brussels, in Belgium. She has to face the unruly students of the school and cold and hostile headmistress, as well as she has to struggle with her feelings towards the English doctor in that certain school and a teacher. And it is said that it's a very moving and powerful story of isolation, loneliness, and unrequited love. So if you want to read more of Charlotte Bronte, then you can vote for this option, because the second book in here is also a very interesting one. It's Armadale by Wilkie Collins. Wilkie Collins is a very gripping author, from what I know, because I received a few comments from people, like his fans, I guess. They said that he really truly writes very enjoyable books that you cannot put down as a reader, and I can confirm that because I read his Woman in White and I really couldn't put it down. Armadale is said to be his best work, but also in particular I want to read it. It's because it has a very interesting female protagonist who is this pure evil which I think is a rarity in like literature of that time, because you often see women portrayed as these like angels who swoon all the time and who lose their conscience if something happens. This is not the case with this lady, because she is plotting, she is vile, and she is also a husband poisoner. And so the whole book evolves around her different plots and intrigues. Also, there is an interesting quote from a critic of that time, which says that Lydia Gwilt, which is the protagonist of the book, Lydia Gwilt is one of the most hardened female villains whose devices and desires have ever blackened fiction. So don't you want to read about this terrible lady who seems to be quite interesting? Actually, I am sure that it's going to be a super gripping, unputdownable novel, because that's what Wilkie Collins writes. And the novel is also explores these topics of position of women in the society of that time. And when he was writing it, he drew on the headlines of the newspapers, and he also drew on new technology of that time, in particular telegraph and penny post, to extra pace his tale. So I think like it's going to be an interesting also book to read. And my last suggestion, which I think is going to be the most popular on the list, but personally I don't feel like I'm ready to read this book. I don't know. I think it has a good chance to win, but you have seen all the previous suggestions. I tried my best to make them interesting and to make them diverse in order to balance this last book, because it's super popular, but at the same time I've seen quite a few not very favorable reviews. Like KG Books recently read that book and he thought that it would be better to watch the movie. And I also watched Caroline vlogs from Caroline Marie Reads, and she also said in her vlogs that like she acknowledges the importance of the book, but she didn't very much enjoy it. So like these reviews do not make me super excited about this book, but I promise to suggest it. And also, if you want to read it, well, we will read it then. So the last book I'm suggesting is Les Mis by Victor Hugo. And I think everybody knows what the novel is about. It's a novel about this underbelly of the Parisian life, peopled with street children, prostitutes and criminals. And we follow a story of this one man, Jean Valjean, who is falsely accused and taken into prison, but then he runs away from the prison and he tries to start a new life as a new man, taking in this young orphaned girl and starting taking care of her. And with this novel, Victor Hugo drew attention to the poor and underprivileged people of Paris at that time. So it's a very important novel, and you also see a lot of positive reviews saying that this book has changed many people's lives, and it has been super influential on them and their personality and stuff like that. But it is intimidating though. And one of the critiques, like the main critiques for this book that I have seen, is that it has a lot of unnecessary commentary, which is like completely irrelevant to the plot, like commentary on war, or commentary on certain pieces of furniture in the house, or like clothes or something like that. And like, it doesn't make me very much excited about this book, and I feel like I will skip those parts. But I don't know. But yeah, I'm suggesting this book. If you want to read it, vote for this, but I highly encourage you to consider something else. So yeah, these are my suggestions for the next round, for the July and August round of the BBB Book Club. So decide wisely, consider wisely, do some research on the books, watch other people's reviews, and then decide which one do you want to read. Like I said before, the link to my community section is in the pinned comment in the comment section to this video, so you can just click on the link. It will take you directly to my community section, and then there will be a poll waiting for you where you can vote for the option that you would like to read. And then in a week, so next Sunday, I will upload an announcement video announcing the book or the books that we will be reading in July and August. So I hope you are excited. I hope you will decide to join the BBB Book Club. The link is down below in the description as always. And for now, thank you so much for watching. I hope you're reading good books and enjoying them. I hope you're having a very good day, and I will see you soon in my next videos. Thank you very much for watching and for voting and for participating in the book club. So yeah, have a good day. See you soon.